Namaste, witchlings. How are we today? As I stab myself in the throat with my microphone yet again, I'm having a day. Can we tell? Hey, I can.
Well, the sniffles have turned into a cough for me, so that's what I've been dealing with.
It's a day. Ugh.
Yeah.
And I have already drunk half of my cup of coffee that I made just before I sat down. It's a day. So, we're tackling. I'm turning my volume on my monitor up. I can't hear jack shit today. So, we are tackling another tough subject this week. 2 weeks ago, it was yet another tough and fairly personal subject. This week, we are discovering how to tell if you are being verbally abused or an abuser yourself. Because, if you have grown up in a household where verbal abuse and emotional abuse are the norm, you don't realize that it's not normal to treat people like that, And you just kind of see it as normal behavior. I did. And, I, honest to God, did not realize that I was actually being abusive to a lot of people in my life.
Yeah.
Because,
I'm
that's
yeah, I mean, I totally get that.
that's how my family interacted with each other.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly, Jared. Hi, Jared. Good to see you.
Hi.
Because, Goddess knows, my family was whew, nasty to each other. Uh, gonna beat you upside the head with a clue by four was a regular statement in my house. Or I'm gonna beat you with a limp noodle.
Or I brought you into this world when I can take you out.
Oh yes,
I
oh
have every
yes.
right to take you out. I'm like, okay then.
I have used that one on my children, but never, I was never serious about it.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of parents that I have heard use that one were,
Which
sorry,
one?
the little
Which one's
guy's
that
being,
one?
Sarge. I love the fact that you know me well enough that you know exactly what's going on.
Well, here's the
And
thing.
Derek moved the door closer.
So you have the mirror, and I see when your door opens,
Yep,
and I know it's a dog because I don't see,
a person
a
in the mirror.
person.
Yep,
So I'm just like, which one?
yep.
I mean,
But
especially it's important because I know for me, when you're trying to work in a long term relationship, when both people have like experienced emotional abuse, and then you just gotta like rethink, like, wait, is this if I what I'm saying? Is it emotional abuse? Like, I don't mean it to be. It's just
yeah,
how it's just how my environment was to like tackle situations like this. And it's
yes,
like you gotta like it's most people don't and then they feel bad because they're like, is it like some people don't know if it is actually abuse or if it's just normal,
banter.
conversation, yeah, banter, and you're like, am I being, I don't want to hurt you, am I hurting you, and I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
or you have a family where one of the parents could put a Jewish mother to
Hmm.
shame
Hmm.
with the guilt trips, and you don't realize that you tend to default to guilt tripping your partner because it's just, that's what you're used to. That's how you get your way. And that's actually one of the things that's in our notes here. Today we will be discussing what is emotional abuse, examples of verbal abuse,
Mhm.
what to do if you are, dealing with it, um, what kind of personality traits an abuser has. Um, and I have a puppy laying on my toes. Oh, it's nice and warm considering that's the foot that got wet and cold earlier.
Mhm.
Definitely not complaining here. So something a lot of people don't realize, and this is something that Kat and I have in common, emotional abuse and verbal, emotional, and mental abuse is just as damaging as physical abuse, if not at times more so, because physical wounds heal. Those emotional scars, not so much, especially if you don't have access to therapy. I mean, I'm 46. I have been in therapy for around about 25 years. And I am just now really starting to process a lot of the deepest traumas that I've got. It's hellacious. So, what exactly is emotional abuse? It is a pattern of behavior that is used to control, manipulate, and isolate someone. The isolation is key. It can happen in any kind of relationship, romantic partnerships, friendships, families, and even workplaces. Oftentimes, we're used to, seeing the toxic emotional abuses being parent child or romantic relationships. Not always, though. I'm going to stand here and say, I know from personal experience that you can have an incredibly toxic, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive friendship.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And
Me
not
too.
even realize it until you walk away and go, oh my God, I let that person treat me like that for how long? Yeah. And you don't, as you were just saying, when you've grown up with it and you're used to it, you don't even realize it. So, what are some of the signs? What are some of the signs that you see?
Again, most importantly, it's just walking on eggshells. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
you are basically like planning your day around this person or individual, or like you're planning your conversations, you know. I mean, and like I know personally for me, like as soon as I got home from school, I knew that I had to get, I have to like be like I have to get all this done, or otherwise, you know,
The
it's
screaming's gonna start.
just, yeah,
Yep.
and and the punishments are gonna come out, and
Yep.
you got, and especially when you have a younger sibling who wants to challenge authority.
See, I'm the
And
baby. I was
yeah,
that younger sibling.
yeah. So that's with you and me, is that you are the younger, and I
And you're
am
the
the
oldest.
the oldest daughter. So it's really hard. So like you're taking care of everyone in the household. Like your eggshells are basically not just on one individual, but everyone.
Hmm. See,
And
I was the youngest, but the only girl.
hmm
But by the time let's see, I was 10 when the youngest of the boys graduated, and then we moved, and I effectively became an only child.
yeah.
So, and that's when my parental abuse ramped up.
Oh yeah. No. I
So,
mean, um, no. I've when I took a stand on leaving the environment, and when my younger sibling was left alone for a little bit, you know, they told me, it got worse,
yep,
you know, and
yep,
because I wasn't there, and then that
yep,
really be like, you're coming with me.
yep. Um, of the three older brothers I have, um, one bugged out literally as soon as he could.
Yeah.
He ran away. He was the other one who was the most common target.
Mhm.
And he has today said, there is a part of him that feels bad because he knew that once he left, I became the target,
Mhm.
but he really didn't have another option. It was,
Yeah,
leave or,
and another thing, like I really want to point out is that right now it's really hard for especially my generation to do that because we are so reliant on our parents for you know income, to have a roof over
everything.
our heads. Like, I know a few people who like gotten married at 18 just so that they could have a stable income with their partner. I'm like, this is something that you guys, do, I mean, like
What did I do?
yeah, you got married at, you
I
know,
went in the military at 17. I signed my name and said, I, Diana Lynn Stevens, do solemnly swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America in
mhm.
front of my grandfather, the one person that I could not lie to.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that was my way of getting out. Run, romp, frolic, be free, be a puppy.
See, in a
So,
way,
yeah,
a lot of people, I mean, it's just education. I'm putting education first,
mm-hmm.
you know. Again, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this degree.
I know.
This.
Let's see. So some of the other signs are you're afraid of the person. If you are afraid of pissing someone off, that is a huge red flag. Um, you can't share things about yourself because you're afraid of them making fun of you for it.
Or the backlash.
Oh, yeah. If you're afraid of, okay, this applies to Jared here, you're afraid to come out to your friend, parent, relative, whatever, that you are a member of the Rainbow Mafia because you know that they're either going to disown you, kick you out of the house, or at the very least, mock you. That's not a good sign. Jenny got married 2 weeks before her birthday to get away from it. Um, your friend, family member, or whatever constantly puts you down, criticizes your appearance, or just makes you feel less than. They threaten you or make you feel unsafe. Or, and this happened to me, they isolate you from your friends and your family. Anyone who tells you that they are your only safe person, your
Mhm.
friends or your family don't care about you, you cannot trust them, anything. If anyone in your life tells you that, they are lying to you. It is one thing if you have a friend or a family member or someone especially if you have a friend who is telling you your family is, toxic AF and you need to, run. That's one thing. If you had like a friend or a couple of friends who were saying, dude, your family. Yes, I like that, Jared. The Rainbow Mafia. We will make you a fabulous offer you just cannot refuse.
I'm gonna make that a t-shirt.
Yes, we should. So, these are some signs that you are being abused. Now, here are some examples: name calling and insults. I am guilty of this. My family, we used to call each other names affectionately: dumbass, fucktard, derpalicious, just stupid shit like that. That was, my former best friend and I, we were well known on base. I still can't believe we did this. NTC San Diego. We would start out at a close distance, usually right next to each other, bitch, cunt, slut, whore, and we would be walking further and getting, yelling it at each other as we got further away, continuing to call each other names. We thought it was funny. We didn't realize until we both got visits from security that people actually thought we were incredibly angry at each other and that it was a problem. Yeah, this actually happened. We had base security show up and to talk to us to make sure that there was not an issue and that, everything was okay. So, name calling and insults. Threats.
Would you like to know the new one that my sister came up with yesterday for me?
Sure, I gotta hear this one.
If I was in a band, you want to know what it'd be called?
What?
Obesity.
There's no love like sibling love.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
I didn't mind. It didn't hurt me because it's kind of funny. We're planning on using that joke today with my mother.
You see the pig?
Mm-hmm.
You know how I got started with the pigs?
Uh-huh.
For those who don't, when I was pregnant with my oldest child, I had morning sickness constantly. So, because I was puking everything I ate up, I ate constantly. I would eat everything in sight. So, my darling big brother, being a good big brother, dubbed me Porkosaurus, which then became Porky, which then became Piggy. His wife decided to make a joke of it that Christmas and gave me a little Miss Piggy finger puppet. And then for our birthday, a week and a half later, exactly, Jared, a week and a half later, I was given a stuffed pig for our birthday. I share a birthday with that brother. And instead of, getting upset and, making it all the more fun for him because he pissed me off, I decided to just run with it. And so that particular pig is one. You can see Risa sitting there. That's another piggy. Her name is Teresa, but we call her Risa. There's a pig sitting here. I have tons of pigs because, it was easier to just start collecting stuffed pigs to take the wind out of my brother's sails. Which then, going along with this one, the next one is humiliation. Yeah, humiliation is very common. Yelling and screaming.
lots of that.
Oh, yeah. There was tons of that in my household. Putting you down. Oh, yeah. I have zero self-esteem because, yeah, I've been put down pretty much my entire life until I got together with my current husband. He, honest to God, actually, no. The one before him was pretty good about not putting me down and tried to stand up to my parents, well, my incubator when she did. And then the king of all verbal and emotional abuse, gaslighting, which is making you question your reality. Here's an example that I read recently. A young woman was out to lunch with her mother, and mom brought up, why don't you have a boyfriend yet? Mom, I am not discussing my love life with you, and changed the subject. 5 minutes later, mom brings up, why don't you have a boyfriend? Mom, I have already said, we are not discussing this subject. Oh, but this is the first time I've asked. No, Mom, you just asked that 5 minutes ago. No, I didn't. I don't remember that. Mom, if you're having memory problems, maybe you need to see the doctor. It shut Mom up. Mom didn't bring up the boyfriend again for the rest of the meal. Which, that's not to say that if you actually have a relative or someone you love who actually is having, issues with dementia or such, this is, but if someone truly is gaslighting you and you call them out like this, they're either going to shut the fuck up because they know they're not having memory issues, or they're going to start an argument with you. Chances are they're just going to shut up and walk away from it. So, what are some of the impacts of emotional abuse? It can have a rather devastating impact on your mental health. Hello, I just said, I have no self-esteem because I have been put down and, emotionally and verbally abused my entire life until I was in my late 30s.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I left my last job, because I was like, I can't do this every day,
No.
It's like, I'd rather be broke than confront this,
Yeah. And as a bigger person, physically, not, mentally and emotionally, because we try to be the bigger person that way.
Yeah.
And I will address that in a moment. As a physically bigger person, we get that attack constantly because, society says we're not worthy anyway. And I want to address the people who say just be the bigger person, rise above it, and ignore them. No. All that does, when you are trying to be the bigger person and ignoring it, that just teaches people that they can walk all over you and you're a fucking doormat. No. When someone treats you like shit, put them in their place. And we will get to that one. Actually, the next thing is what to do if you're experiencing emotional abuse. G, set boundaries. Put them in their place. Limit exposure, seek support, and if the abuse is severe enough or the person just flat won't change, walk away. End the relationship. But getting back to the impact, emotional abuse is horrific. It can lead to anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, hello, like I said, and it can cause PTSD. Actually, I'm going to amend that. Um, PTSD itself generally is caused by one event. This that we're talking about, long-term abuse, generally causes complex PTSD,
Okay.
which is different and requires a different treatment methodology.
That explains everything.
Yes.
I mean, would you consider an event that happened a similar, like the same event that happened over and over again?
Yes, that would trigger
Can
CPTSD.
CTC? Okay, because like I mean, for me personally, I can't do loud noises because of stuff that happened in my childhood, and
Yep.
that puts me into a
Fight or flight,
yeah,
panic attack, fight or flight. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep. That could go along with the CPTSD. Yes.
mhm.
So, what kind of personality traits do abusers tend to share?
Narcissism.
Well, yeah. They are generally controlling, domineering, self centered, insensitive, unreasonable, and lacking in empathy. And I am biting my tongue because I've got like two people that are coming right to the forefront of my mind that I want to spit out as the first two people that come to mind here. And I'm going to behave myself.
See, my problem is that I've seen, individuals give empathy, but it's like it's really hard for me to or do you mean the infant, why are you overly nice? You know,
Are they actually being empathetic or are they just faking it?
I can't tell. That's my thing. It's like I can't tell. It's like you want to be this giving, teaching kindness person, but at the same time, you're not doing it to me.
Yeah.
That's the thing I can't wrap my head around. It's that, like, I genuinely believe that you have good qualities, but you're not using those good qualities to
With
me.
me?
With me half the time.
And you get the people, um, how many times do you get the people that you are talking to someone
Yeah.
about your abuser and they're
Mhm.
like, but he's such a nice guy, or
Yeah.
she was always so nice and so
Yeah.
sweet to me. I
Mhm.
have someone in my life, someone I
Yeah.
love dearly. They are my adopted sibling. There's a
Mhm.
reason I'm not specifying beyond that. Um, that my mother adopted them as
Mhm.
her child.
Mhm.
Okay. And she was a wonderful mother to them.
Mhm.
She was everything to them that she never
Yep.
was to me.
Mhm.
And while this person lived with us,
Mhm.
shared a house with me and my parents, and has seen firsthand how my mother treated me and how my mother treated them. And they're like,
Yeah.
and they have said to me, I cannot rectify how Ma treated you and how she treated me.
Mhm.
She was a wonderful mother to me, loved me, rescued me from an abusive
Mhm.
situation, and treated you like this.
Mhm.
And just, duh, how could she do
See,
this?
my thing is that when you're talking about to other people and they're saying, like, I've got this multiple times, it's like, well, they're just incapable of loving, that's why they're like this. I'm like,
But
Wait,
they're
so
not.
I'm like, are you saying that my mother never loved me and my sister? You know, like at that I'm like that. I find that physically impossible. Like I know, like one time. I mean, I don't know your experience with your incubator, but I mean, at one time, she was a mother.
Yeah, mine never did.
Okay,
I am 99% certain my incubator never loved me.
okay,
But then, okay, I am being very careful not to be specific here. Someone that you and I know, actually, you have yet to
hmm
meet them personally, but you know who I'm
yeah,
referring to.
mm-hmm,
Their mother does not have a maternal bone in her body,
mm-hmm,
does not love her or her sister.
mm-hmm,
There is no way in hell. Claims she does, but
mm-hmm.
I am 99% sure there is no love there.
Okay,
I am pretty sure that she is incapable of loving anyone.
mm-hmm,
So I can see it there.
okay,
My mother loved my brothers,
mm-hmm,
loved the adopted sibling I was talking about. It was very obvious to
mm-hmm.
everyone that she could love, but somehow I was not, worthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and this is what I'm about to say is part of why I sympathize and understand the trans community so well. I have very vivid, clear memory of laying in my bed in Myrtle Creek, the town I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in Southern Oregon, crying. I wish I were a boy so my mommy would love me. I remember saying those words.
Oh,
Why
you just unlocked a
couldn't I
memory.
be a boy?
You just
If I
unlocked a
were a
memory.
boy, maybe mommy would love me.
I, I,
So many
I,
nights.
I mean, I said, if I have said multiple times, if maybe if I were a boy, I would be treated differently at school. I would be
Yeah, I can
treated
see that
differently
too.
at home. Like I wouldn't be put on this so much pressure, to lose weight, to think how I dress,
Nope.
to style my hair. You know, you have. I remember, most crying myself. Saying like, why can't I not have been a boy? It would have been so much easier. You know.
Your weight, you still would have been harassed about even if you were a boy.
Yeah. No.
That one I know because of my high school, my high school sweetheart. He was a bigger boy,
Mhm.
and he got harassed just as much as we do.
Well, okay,
Which sucks.
so I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Looking at pictures of middle middle school, elementary school me, you can say I was a pretty healthy kid, but because I was growing at a rate of a 10-year-old, I mean not 10 at 10 at a 13-year-old, I was considered. So when I was 10, I was growing at a rate as a 13-year-old.
Okay.
So like there was like I was very much growing more than like the normal girls. So
Precocious puberty.
yeah. So
Oof.
yeah.
We'll
And then
talk more
like
about that later.
yeah.
Yes, I understand. But yeah, and then it is really difficult, as we were saying when we started here.
Mhm.
If you have grown up in a family that interacts like this, in a hellaciously toxic family, that just this is the norm, and you interact like this. Sorry, I have coffee around my mouth. um, and then you go out into the normal world where people don't treat each other like shit. How do you realize you are an abuser? Therapy. I highly recommend therapy for everybody. Even if you think you don't need it, it doesn't hurt to have somebody to bounce normal day-to-day stuff off of. And I know a lot of people will say, pastoral counseling, talk to your religious person. Sorry, Grandpa. I don't like it. Because too often you go and talk to your pastor and they're going to hand you Bible verses to read and shit like that. Because too often your pastor does not have any training.
Nope.
Just like I have an article that I will be posting to the Socialist to go along with this. And
Yep.
Jared has a good point there too.
Yep.
Emotional abusers, your religious leaders tend to be a common culprit there. Thank you, my friend. As I said, I am sorry, Grandpa, but too often.
See, I'm going to refer to my traumatic church camp experience at Greycliff Lodge. When you're during nightly sermons and stuff, we were put into our groups, standard groups, right?
Yep.
And all these girls were talking about hurting themselves, depression, witnessing their friends' suicides, and all my all the youth leader can say was, God loves you.
Oh.
Pray to God and this all be better. And I'm like, I'm here, I'm like, well, this is escalating very quickly, and I don't need to,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, these people need help,
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, well, I wasn't gonna share my experience, but I'm just like, okay then, that's all you got. Like, these people are opening up to you.
Yeah, they're telling you their deepest, darkest traumas, and you're just like, pray the gay away. Sorry, Jared. And I'm just like, seriously, people? Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just here for the,
I'm here for the water park.
I'm here for the water park. And then they were like, you have to have a buddy. I'm like,
damn.
Yep. I don't know any of you.
See, way back when, I was all about the church, and I was all about God, and all of that shiz. Then my grandpa developed cancer. Yeah, that rocked my faith hard. But I was that kid. I did Vacation Bible School. I did the Heifer Project. I did, all of it. When the oldest of my brothers graduated high school, he and the deacon of our church, had a daughter who was the same age as my oldest brother. Mm-hmm. So when they graduated high school, right around graduation, mind you, they graduated high school when I was 6, so this is 40 years ago. Yes, you did find something much better to do on your knees, my friend. So mind you, this is a 40-year-old memory. I don't remember who came up with the idea, but Beth, the daughter, was the celebrant. Bill was lay reader. Bill was my brother. Art is the youngest of my brothers. He did a reading. I do not remember what Jim did, but Jim did a reading, and then I did the psalm. So basically, we got permission for us kids to do the entire church service. No priest, nothing, just us kids. So that is how, dedicated to the church I was at one point. And that was one of my fondest memories of church. Oh, dear Lord. Jenny, that goes along with my ex-girlfriend. She's still a good friend of mine. her late father's wife. Mind you, my girlfriend is a spoonie, has multiple health issues, multiple mental health issues stemming from abuse. TBI from having her head slammed into a wall, and a few other things. Her stepmother had the gall to tell her that if she just prayed harder, she wouldn't have seizures and headaches, and her health issues would be better. Oh, Jared said he's sorry, and he sympathizes and understands. So yeah, we've been there, hun. But I myself have discovered that I slip into being verbally abusive, especially when I lose my temper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very careful to watch my temper because
Like,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
you push me to the point that I get pissed and I will let loose. And I am not one of those people that when I get pissed, I don't say things I don't mean. Oh no, I mean everything that comes out of my mouth. And I don't lie. Everything that comes out is 100% true. And then, courtesy of being a multiple, you push me far enough and you will meet Rage. You don't want to meet Rage. She's not a nice person.
Okay, I gotta let you know. I gotta go.
Oh, yep. You got to take off. Enjoy the
Yep.
concert.
Okay. No.
Give the sibling a hug.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Oh, I know. Message me later. I love you, kiddo.
All right. Bye. Bye.
But yeah, you do not want to push me to the point that Rage comes out. I become a homicidal maniac because of her. It's not pleasant. So, there are some ways to help cope with verbal abuse and emotional abuse. Yoga is one of them, which is one of the reasons we decided to tackle this subject today. Yoga, it is not uncommon for people to start crying on the mat. Particularly, and this is something that I need to do some more research on because my brain is poofed right now. Hip openers. Child's Pose can do it. Happy Baby can do it. And I just lost the third one that was in mind. But anytime that you are doing pelvic openers, hip openers, a lot of people will just be overcome with emotion and just start bawling because it just triggers a release of emotion. So it's really, really releasing, refreshing, I guess, for some. Not the words I'm looking for, but it's what's coming to mind. I actually have, if I can get my notes that I want here. Maybe. I don't think. Nope. That's not it. I have, there we go, a couple of links that I will be sharing to the socials that have a short flow, 5 accessible yoga poses for emotional balance and release, 5 mindful responses to trauma, and trauma-informed yoga for healing. Because, and the reason I go with the trauma-informed yoga for healing, my goal ultimately with yoga with Dailin, I can talk, is in about 4 years now, because we are coming up on the 1-year anniversary in June of Yoga with Dai. I want to launch a 501, and I will be, as of right now, the name is tentatively planned to be Pink Lotus. That will be a trauma-informed yoga. I want to work with BIPOC, Rainbow Mafia, survivors of sexual and domestic violence, trafficking survivors, etc., etc. Hey, puppy girls. And I want a low income, people who need the healing power of yoga. Because I know from my own experience that it can heal so much. Is there a reason you're whipping me with that weapon, child? Because the way I was introduced to yoga was through, originally through mindfulness-based stress reduction. It is a program created by Jon Kabat-Zinn back on the East Coast. The Seattle VA was offering it. I was invited to participate. There are some basic yoga involved in it. I liked what I was doing there. And at the time, I was already involved with the Women's Trauma and Recovery Clinic at the Seattle VA. And I found out that they were offering a women's yoga group. So I was enjoying the yoga and mindfulness-based stress reduction. So I asked to join the yoga group. I was accepted. I went to my first class. It was an hour-long class, and within the first 15 minutes of being in that class, I knew I was going to teach. I knew I wanted to teach yoga right then, because I felt so much better myself physically, and the longer I did it, the more it helped me mentally and emotionally. And yes, I know they're being wild and crazy. It's dinner time for them. So by the end of my first yoga class, my first real class, I was hooked. And it took 15 years, but I got my certification, and here I am. And that is why I have the goal of Pink Lotus. And I want to work with women and men who have been through the same ringers. Child abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence, all of it. And veterans, of course, my people. But because I know it helps. And I want to give back. Because that's me. So, I will be throwing some resources up on the blog at yogawithdailin.com. I will be posting, the link to the blog on the socials, as well as the links that I was just talking about for the yoga flows and a couple of other things. So those will probably not get posted until tomorrow at this point, because these hellions need to go for a walk and get fed. Otherwise, thank you guys for joining us. It has been an interesting conversation today. Slightly less triggering than 2 weeks ago. So tomorrow night is Friday. How is it already Thursday? Seriously? Wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff, I swear. So tomorrow we will be probably doing another Yoga Nidra Asana because I've got a new book that I'm enjoying reading from. Those scripts are really cool. Then Saturday, unfortunately, I do not have the spoons to pre-record a yoga class for this week, and Kat and I are doing a combination of networking and just hanging out thing. So I will not be home. Then Monday we are back on. Yes, you were actually. And then there's a chance that we're going to have another fun episode next week with another friend. So yay! But you were very much a very fun relief last week. Wouldn't necessarily say comic relief, although we were laughing a good bit. And you are welcome back anytime you want to come back. So next week we have Daily Draw, 2:00 my time. No, 1:30. Holy sh! Yes, 1:30. I can tell time, really. And we start the whole shit kit and caboodle over again. And what is today? I need a doggy door. So today is the 25th. My brain is like massively hiccuping here to the point I can't remember the word for calendar. I have a date for my neck surgery. It will be the end of May. So that will be, coming up. Friday the 17th of May. Probably not going to be online. I have not decided if I will be doing a guided meditation that night or not, because that is a birthday for 2 members of my family. That is my husband's birthday and my daughter's birthday. So, it's up to them if I'm going to be online. And that is coming far quicker than I want to admit. And I have another birthday coming up in 4 days. So, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantabulous, wonderful night, guys. I love you all. Be kind to each other. Spread love, joy, kindness, and have a wonderful night. See ya.